Well, for more on how the world's pressing economic problems, I spoke with Paul Krugman, last year's Nobel laureate for economics and a professor at Princeton University. Mr. Krugman, the news from Europe today appears to suggest that Greece's debt time bomb has been diffused, at least for the moment. But is there a global debt bomb? And if there is, when is it going to go off?
Well, I'm not sure that bomb is quite the right word, but no, look, there are a lot of countries under stress. There's Greece. Several other southern European countries are clearly at some risk. There are reasons to be concerned about some of the bigger economies. We worry a little bit about Japan. The United States, although I do not believe it is currently in trouble, if we try hard enough, we can get ourselves into debt trouble. So this is a real problem. It's not the only problem facing the world, but debt is a real risk out there.
You've suggested that this is not the moment to be focused so much on the debt problem as it is to stay focused on stimulating the economy and trying to revive the global economy, both here in the United States and, of course, in Europe as well at the moment. But if we aren't going to focus on debt right now and trying to reduce debt right now, when do we tackle that challenge?
You want an economy that is not deeply depressed. You want an economy in which the depressing effects of fiscal contraction, the depressing effects of slashing government spending or raising taxes, can be offset by cutting interest rates. The reason why this is a really bad time to be doing fiscal austerity is because interest rates in the major economies are up against the zero lower bound, because the policy interest rates are as low as they can go, which means that any attempt to slash spending right now, whatever, is going to largely have the effect of increasing unemployment, is actually going to not do very much to reduce future debts because it's going to depress the economy and therefore depress revenue. So what we want is we want to see a genuine world recovery with monetary policy back to its normal job of trying to strike a balance between unemployment and inflation. That's when we can start doing fiscal austerity, but not now.
And what benchmarks would you have to meet, would you think the global economy has to meet before one can impose fiscal austerity? What specifically are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for the unemployment rate in major economies coming down to levels that are consistent with starting to raise interest rates. The United States, I really wouldn't think it makes any sense to talk about fiscal austerity until we get down to an unemployment rate of 7% or so, which is still high, but gets to a point where you start to say, well, maybe zero interest rates are not the right answer. It's a little bit harder to come up with that number for Europe, but it's not now with near 10% unemployment in the United States. This is a time when fiscal austerity is a very ill-suited tool to deal with our problems.
But doesn't one of the lessons from Greece show us that actually policymakers may not have much choice in this, that markets attack a country's economy when they choose to do so, as they have done in Greece, and they could do so in the United States, presumably?
Well, yes, but on the other hand, the history of major economies is that debt levels substantially higher than the United States has right now have in the past been handled with equanimity. I mean, the United States came out of World War II with a debt that was, roughly comparable as a share of GDP to Greece right now. The UK has at times run debt levels as high as 250% of GDP without crisis. What makes Greece so vulnerable is partly history. It does have a lot of history of default, and partly the fact that they are trapped in their policy choices by membership in the euro. There are other aspects of that story, but it's the fact that Greece is stuck with what amounts to an overvalued currency, except it doesn't have its own currency, that it's trapped in what would be a depressed economy even without fiscal austerity, that makes it so nasty. It's not the same. The situation facing America, even facing the UK, is very different from that facing Greece right now.
Paul Krugman joining us from Princeton University. Thank you very much, Mr. Krugman.
Well, thank you.